Hello, everybody. Brenda Hillard here at Create with Brenda. I have a fun card, fall themed card for you. And today's products, I will be using the first thing I want to tell you about is the Stock Up and Save paper sale going on. I've talked about it before, but just want you to know that it's winding down. August 2nd is going to be the last day of the Stock Up and Save sale, 15% off of the 9 selected papers here. And today I'm going to be featuring the Beauty of the Earth paper, and I think it's a really fun card. So let me show you the other products I'm going to use. I'm going to be using our Stamparatus. If you do not have the Stamparatus, check it out. It's a must-have tool for your stamping stash or stuff. And I have a piece of cinnamon cider paper that measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to be using the stitched leaf dies. These are beautiful dies, and you'll see them in action in just a minute. This paper is a sneak peek at the new Dazzle 6x6 paper pack, and that's coming up in our second celebration. You guys, there's a second celebration this year, and that starts on August 3rd as well. So if you don't have your mini catalog yet and your celebration brochure, be sure to reach out to me and I'd be happy to send you one. Here's the paper we will be using from the, gosh, all of a sudden the name escaped me. It is called the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper, and it is gorgeous. Here's my sampler. So you get this beautiful green foliage with the wood background, so you know how it is, the front and the back. So then there's this watercolor, this one, here, here, and here. Excuse me. And today we'll be using this one. So look at all the colors that the paper coordinates with. And instead of being $11.50 for the paper pack, it's $9.78, 15% off. I have to take a sip of water here. Sorry about that. All right, next, we are going to need our Stamp and Cut and Emboss. And I'm going to need the full size because we're going to be using this fun die. It's a background die, stitched greenery, and I have a piece of Cajun craze that measures 4 by 5 1/4. I have a scrap, like I said, of the Beauty of the Earth and a scrap of cinnamon cider that we'll need for our leaves. I'm also introducing the new seasonal labels dies. These are in the mini, so you're going to need a scrap of Whisper White. And then I chose this label to use for our sentiment. Now, our sentiment comes from a new stamp set as well. This is in the mini catalog, and it's called Pretty Pumpkins. And I love this. So thankful for you. The font is really pretty. You'll see that in a minute. So let me move this aside. And one thing I did forget to tell you that you will need is a Whisper White. It measures 4 by 5 1/4, and it's the insert for our card. And then you're also going to want a 4 by 1/2 inch strip of the Designer Series paper for the inside. So let's start by just folding our card base in half. And I am going to be die cutting all the pieces today because I want you to see how beautiful that stitched greenery and then the stitched leaf dies are. So there's our card base. Let's take our little 1/2 inch piece of designer series paper and add our, if I do it on my silicone pad, it keeps my work surface from getting all sticky. There it goes. And I'm just going to add this to the bottom of that 4 by 5 1/4 whisper white, which is our insert. I always like to check the back and see if it's even, and it's not. I didn't cut exactly, so I just trim it so that it looks nice and neat on my card. And then I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal to the top edge of our insert, and I'm just going to put that right inside our card. Just like that. Okay? Then let's bring in our die cutting machine. And you can see my plates are well loved, but I'm going to go through this again where you need platform number 1. You need this little shim number 2, a cutting plate, and then the first one that we're going to do is the stitched greenery die, and you can see here it's a large metal die, and I'm going to lay my die cut side up. I'm going to place my piece of Cajun craze, and again this measured 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to run this through my machine. Now, one thing I do want to tell you with this one is it really does imprint the paper, and it can be kind of hard to lift off the corners there. So I'm going to take your pick tool, and I'm just going to lift, and then I'm able to lift up. Look how beautiful, you guys. I just love this die. I think it's really fun. And it coordinates really well with that Year of Peach suite too, because they do look like the leaves in that suite. So there's that piece. Now I'm going to bring in the label from the Seasonal Labels dies. So I chose this one. And this, like I said, is from the mini cat, the July through December mini, which goes live on August 3rd. So stay tuned for all the goodness in that catalog. And then I'm just going to lay this on my scrap piece of Whisper White. And I'll take my scrap of cinnamon cider. And let me get my stitched leaf dies. Okay, so as what you're going to see is there are 2 pieces. So you have this one and then this, okay? But you have to turn them over so that the flat side is up and they're centered. And then I'm going to take this leaf and the cut outside, and I'm going to put my designer series paper here, and I'm just going to lay this on that, like that. So let's run that through because our cutting plate is getting pretty full. But I wanted you to see how you can do one pass through the machine and get most of your pieces that you need. So here's our label die. And here's one of our leaves. Isn't it pretty? Can you see the the imprint. Now, here's our Designer Series paper leaf. And we have a little more die cutting to do. So I'm going to take just the outline for this leaf, and I'm going to put our sparkly dazzle paper on here. Now, one thing I want to tell you about this is you have to use open dies like this. They cannot be the filigreed or like that, that center stitched piece. That will not work. In fact, more than likely, it will dull your die. So don't use that with the glimmer paper, okay? So we need one more of these for our envelope. So let's lay that on there. And again, we're going to run this through our machine. This dazzle paper from the Celebrations catalog is really pretty and it's really sparkly, but it's pretty thick. So here's our sparkly leaf. And remember, celebration means that you get a free item out of the celebration brochure for every $50 that you spend in products. So that's always kind of fun because we're going to buy the products we love, but then to get to pick something extra for free is always fun too. So, and this year we get to do it twice, not just once, twice. So, all right. I think that's all of our die cutting. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And let's start assembling. Let's start assembling our card. So here's what it looks like. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Let's bring our card base back in. And I want to add some Stampin' Seal to all four sides of our stitched greenery piece here. I'm just going to center that on my card front. Just like that. I think I got it a little bit crooked. Let's see if I can quickly reposition that. Yep, looks good. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in our Stamparatus. And I've shown you this technique before in other videos, but I want to reiterate in case this is your first time joining me. If it is your first time joining me, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to be notified of new projects. And I love building my subscriber base, so please subscribe. As I told you, I'm using the sentiment from the Pretty Pumpkins. It's called says So Thankful for You. So as what I've done is when I die cut my piece here, I saved my outline. Do you see it here? And then I just set it up on my board and I placed my stamp so that my stamp is centered right in the die. Then when I go through to do these, I fit this in just like a puzzle piece right in there. Bring in my Early Espresso ink. Early Espresso is just such a beautiful, beautiful color. It's just that dark chocolate brown. And then I'm going to stamp just like this on my label. And if you do multiple cards, it works really well because you get a straight sentiment, a perfect impression every time. And if you didn't get that perfect impression the first time, the beauty is you can ink up your stamp over here again and go right back in and stamp in the exact same place to get the darkness that you're looking for. Okay? So there's that. And now it's just arranging. So let's bring in our Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put one on each corner here. And I'm just going to set that. It's always good to put your sentiment right side up. Did you see I almost put it upside down? Get that on there nice and straight like I want it. Then I'm going to bring in my Designer Series paper leaf, and I'm going to use 3-dimensionals on that. And I want to layer this so that it looks like the leaf is tumbling over my sentiment, just like that. And let's bring in our sparkle leaf, the Dazzle. This paper is just awesome, but I love shiny, so tuck that in just like that. And then last but not least, our little cinnamon cider leaf. And I'm going to just tuck that one in like so that they look like they're tumbling. But doesn't this just give the best shine to our card? I love it. All right, so for embellishing, I've got linen thread and I've got the Gilded Gems. So let's start with the Gilded Gems. And I'm going to, with my Take Your Pick tool, I'm going to pick up one of the largest, and I'm just going to add that here. Then I'll take a smaller one and add that. Whoops, there's something stuck on there and I want it off. There we go. And then we'll do the medium size. All right. So that just kind of helps balance our gold sparkle there with the Dazzle paper. And then let's bring in our linen thread. And I'm going to double this up so I have 2 strands. And then I'm just going to tie one of those double bows. And as what I do is I just kind of pull my loops until I get the size bow I want. And then I can trim this end and this, I can just snip that loop from where we doubled it. Okay? And then let's bring in our blue dot. And I was fortunate enough to get a roll of the dots that were done backwards, but that's okay because you can see it's worked. It's almost gone. And then I'm just going to add, after I get it unstuck from my finger, I'm just going to add this to the stem of our gold card. I love this card. I think it's really pretty. It's simple. There's a fair amount of die cutting, as you can see, but that's okay. Now, remember, this is Create with Brenda, and there's no naked envelopes here. So that's why I had cut this extra die, or extra cinnamon cider leaf using the stitch leaf dies. And I'm just going to put some glue on that so it stays on through the mailing process, and I want to just add that to the flap of our envelope. So, little snips out of there. There's our card. I hope you loved today's project. Be sure to comment. And like I said, subscribe. I love subscribers. And then you get notification of all of my new upcoming projects. So if you decide to take advantage of the Stock Up and Save Designer Series paper sale, be sure to add the host code up here. And if this month, if you purchase over $75, you will receive the a pack of the 6x6 Tidings of Christmas. That's a full pack, 48 sheets. And then I have a Christmas in July special going on too. If you purchase the Evergreen Elegance bundle, that's a stamp set and punch, and it can be found in the annual catalog. I will send you free the wintry, it's a 2-folder set, the wintry 3D embossing folders. So be sure to check that out. Have a great day, everybody. Until next time.